So hopefully you had a chance to check out our trailer where I talked about becoming a type 1 diabetic. Dr. Z, what do you remember about that early part? I remember you went out and got me the tester.
Yeah, the glucometer. Somebody here was so determined. And I remember we were going for a walk, and I believe that we had tested you, and it was saying positive ketones. So for me, that was emergency, danger, danger. Somebody already had a doctor's appointment the next day.
Yeah.
So wanted to drive himself to the hospital the next day and take it from there.
Which I ended up doing, not realizing. I don't remember what the glucometer?
Yeah, glucometer.
I don't remember what it registered. It was either 525, but I think it was 575 plus ketones, which I know nothing about these technical things. Dr. Z does.
Well, and he wouldn't listen to me.
No, I
he was
wouldn't
determined to do things his own way. I was scared throughout the night. I didn't want him to lapse into a coma, which is very common. That can happen. The brain can swell, and you can ultimately die from that.
Right.
But he survived the night and got in his car and drove to the hospital the next day. And what happens? I get a call, and it was still Patrick, Professor P, asking me to come and get his car or his clothes, or bring him some clothes, because he was going to be staying at the hospital.
Right. So incredible. The good Lord is watching out for me, because I had no idea how dangerous this situation was. So that was the beginning of the whole, okay, you're in the hospital, you know, I had the pancreatic tumor, I got this tiny little snippet of pancreas left. I was not able to keep up with the sugar intake, so I developed into a type 1 diabetic situation. From there, what they did was they scheduled me a nutritionist, and I was very proactive. I took everything seriously after that dumb move on my part. And what happened was this is why I love stressing, educating. Part of what we're doing is educate. We want to be educating everybody, because I was totally ignorant. I had no idea how dangerous of a situation I was in. I thought, hey, this isn't that big of a deal. So fast forward, nutritionist, I start to learn how to eat correctly and really take it to heart. What they did was they put me on this insulin three times the sliding scale, right? Yeah. Tell them what that's all about.
Well, the sliding scale insulin is where you test your blood sugar, and then that helps you determine how much insulin to give yourself. So I remember we went to Germany, and at every restaurant, Patrick would have to bring out his needles and test his blood sugar, and then determine how much insulin he was going to give himself and then go ahead and eat. Did that for breakfast, lunch, and for dinner. So that was quite cumbersome, but you did it.
Yeah.
I have to say, you were very diligent about checking your blood sugars and giving yourself, and taking that insulin with him wherever he went. Right.
So what I ended up doing, which is incredible, and we'll get to the rest of the story in a minute here, but I ended up, okay, low carb, 45 to 60 carbs per meal, I started doing the research, learning about what to eat, what not to eat, and incredibly, I totally eliminated the 3 times a day testing myself. And believe it or not, people, today, now I only take 7 units of long-acting 24-hour Lantus.
Yeah, that's incredible. And so it's much easier to go about your day, do the things that you want to do, but you got to remember to eat also. You've had a couple of times where you still start to feel not well.
Oh, it's horrible when you go low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually that would happen when you would take your insulin and go to the gym.
Yeah.
And then you wouldn't eat for several hours.
Yeah.
And so what did you do? You started carrying some
Any kind of a
candies.
sweet thing.
Yeah.
Anything sweet brings you back up. So the rest of the story is, in 2022, I had to go in for heart surgery, and when I was in the hospital, you know, they got everybody monitoring and looking at you. These two doctors come in. They must have been diabetic doctors. They come in, and I'm like, who are these guys? And anyways, they just start talking, and they're like, wow, we're looking at your A1C scores. This is incredible. You should write a book. So, wrapping it up here, what I want to say is that you can really have an effect on your own situation. You can take things into your, use your doctors. They're there to help you get as much mileage as you can out of what they have to offer. But at the end of the day, I love that saying, if it's going to be, it's up to me. It was incredible how much I was able to change my diet, which changed my intake of insulin. So if I can do it, you guys can do it. Dr. Z, any parting thoughts?
Yes, and guys, listen to your wives, please. Because working as a medical examiner, I see, unfortunately, so many men who are not feeling well. The wife is like, should I call 911? Do you want to go to the hospital? No, I'll be fine. They sleep it off,
Right.
and they never wake up the next day. And that could have easily happened here. So men, listen to your wives. That is your help mate. Two heads are better than one.
Right. Ladies, make that call.
Make that call.